Thursday edition of Schein Time. The Knicks do it again. Another night, more domination, more proof. They're beating the Sixers and everyone in the East. We're all over it. Plus, Ant-Man, a true superhero. LeBron gets ready for SGA and OKC. And a special night all the way around at Yankee Stadium. Schein Time starts right now.
Don't stop. Keep it coming, baby. Don't stop.
It's Hart. Three ball. Short. Inside rebound goes to Bridges. 3 seconds left. Brunson. Got it. Jalen Brunson.
Fitting on that last possession. The offensive rebound. Get the ball to Brunson. The hot hand. The late closeout doesn't matter. Brunson with a Bernard King-like first half.
Oh, baby, go New York, go New York, go. Are you kidding me? What a way to get the garden party started. The Knicks, baby, my Knicks. That was awesome. Fourth straight ass kicking. Absolutely, positively sensational. More proof that the Knicks are absolutely on an unbelievable freight train to the NBA Finals. I can't wait. This was such an amazing game, so inspiring. The way the Knicks just absolutely routed, destroyed, demoralized, stole the soul from the Philadelphia 76ers. Yeah, routes where they left off from the Atlanta series. What a perfect back page, as per usual, from the New York Post. And I want you to take a look at these nuggets of domination here. I want you to read this, look at this, stare at this, study this. First team to win 4 straight playoff games by a combined 135 points. First team to win 3 straight playoff games by at least 25 points. You look at the plus-minus last 4 games the Knicks have played in the postseason, plus 34. That is the best in the playoffs in a 4-game span ever in the history of the NBA. The final score last night was 137-98. It wasn't even that close. My goodness. My guy, Jalen Brunson. Can you imagine being a Jalen Brunson hater? Can you imagine having a take that Jalen Brunson can't be the alpha dog on a team that is going to win a conference, be in position to compete, to win a championship? What Jalen Brunson has done has been next level. And look, he's been doing this since Villanova. He's been doing this when he was with the Dallas Mavericks. And obviously, he has been Captain Clutch owning New York City since he's been a member of the New York Knicks. But this right here, over the last 4 games, what he did to set the tone and the tempo last night, where he was on fire. But this wasn't one of those Jalen Brunson just haphazardly putting up shots. It was a plan, orchestrated it brilliantly, took control, was on fire. The way that Jalen Brunson played last night, man, he is my favorite athlete in New York sports, and watching him work and do his thing, it's next level. 27 of his 35 in the first half. He was absolutely on fire. The dribble drive, the control, the array of offensive moves, and then what he did at the end of the first half. You want to talk about the ultimate exclamation point on the heels of an unbelievable sentence? Bam! Jalen Brunson with the 3-pointer at the buzzer, and the crowd goes wild. That was awesome last night. That was incredible stuff. 27 of the 35 in that first half. And honestly, Nick Nurse had to pull the starters for the Philadelphia 76ers at about what? The 5 minutes gone by mark in the third quarter, because it was garbage time. And when you take a look at it from a Knicks perspective, I mean, the whole thing was just amazing. Karl Anthony Towns, what he has done, man, it's incredible. And Cat had to deal with the ultimate antagonist when you look at Joel Embiid. And Cat was smart, and he was on fire, and he hit from the outside, hit from the inside. Cat's passes from the top of the key, finding the open man, unbelievable. I thought Karl Anthony Towns was superb. Another game where you saw him distribute and you saw him crash the boards. He wasn't thinking. He was energized on offense. You know, you look at it from a Towns perspective, 17 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. OG Anunoby had 18 points last night. OG has been on fire, picking up exactly where he left off from the Atlanta domination. 7 of 8 shooting for OG. And how about Mikal Bridges? Listen, this was the one, right? Where you had to wonder aloud, would the Knicks be able to get the great version of Mikal Bridges? What we saw in Game 6 against Atlanta, what we saw last year in the postseason, because the lows have been so low for Mikal. The highs have been high, but there haven't been enough of them. The fact that Bridges had 17 points on 7 of 10 shooting, and Brunson made sure that his good buddy was in rhythm, in flow early. Listen, this was unbelievable. The ball movement was great. The intensity was great. The early effort was great. Knicks had a monster advantage going into this game based upon the fact that they were able to take a breath, sit on their couch, watch Boston and Philly battle on Saturday night, rest home court in the favor of the Knicks. But then it's the job of the Knicks at the end of the day to make it the advantage and make it stick. I couldn't get enough of what transpired when you look at the way the Knicks didn't leave anything to chance. And, you know, when Cat hit that 3 at 90 to 60, that was it. That was just as fun as it gets. Whenever you're looking at Tyler Kolek playing 10 minutes in a playoff game and Nick Nurse has to pull everyone, I mean, what a complete and utter debacle for Philly. They were clearly, and being fair, right? Philadelphia exerted a lot of effort and energy to come back down 3-1, right? They're down 3-1. Tyrese Maxey is that dude. You know I'm obsessed with him. Maxey didn't score in the first quarter. Didn't have a bucket until the second quarter. That's a tremendous job by the Knicks forcing the issue. Paul George was a non-factor. Joel Embiid tried to get under the skin of Cat and Mitch, but they wouldn't let it happen. Look, Joel Embiid deserves a lot of credit. I am not an Embiid fan. That has been documented. Deserves a lot of credit for how he played in the Boston series. Look, in sake of fairness to Embiid, he's clearly not 100%. He's clearly laboring. Love the NBA schedule in the second round, where it's every other night get the same teams playing. So I think that all favors New York. And, you know, I just love the efforts from the Knicks last night. Togetherness from the Knicks last night. Energy. It was just awesome to watch. And I got to tell you, on a night where the final score was 137-98, and it wasn't even that close, and the team was just playing unbelievable for 4 quarters and really just made Nick Nurse just basically say, we're out in game number 1, get ready for game 2 in the third quarter. As majestic as Brunson was and Mike Brown was and Cat was and OG was and Hart was, all of them, right? I thought that the most impressive thing that happened last night, the most inspiring thing that happened last night, was what Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson had to say after the game.
We're playing well, but it doesn't mean anything if, you know, we can't find a way to get 3 more wins. We just got to stick to the task at hand. You said it was the last 4 games. The key word is last. It doesn't have anything to do with the next 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, we got to stay locked in and be disciplined and execute at a high level. I think right now we're, seeing a culmination of the trials and tribulations we went through in the season to be at this point.
Tonight's over with. We got to focus on next game. It's back to 0-0. Whether you win by 1 or 30, whatever, it's one win. You know, you got to continue to do it.
That's it. Those sound bites. That's it. Of anything that I wanted in the show today, I wanted that. Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson saying the past is in the past. That was unbelievable. Let someone like me pontificate, bloviate, be subject to hyperbole. Let Knicks fans dance in the street as we showed at the beginning of the show. Let Knicks fans get fired up. That's the job of the press. That's the job of fans, to have predictions, to get excited, to look into the crystal ball. I can't get enough what we saw after the game. On a night where Brunson pumped in 35 points, Jalen Brunson post-game, that's where he was the MVP. Karl Anthony Towns post-game, that's where you realize this guy's got it going on. Because for the Knicks to dominate like that for the fourth straight game, for me to give you all those incredible nuggets of history, domination, jubilation for the New York Knicks, they haven't won anything. And they know that. So I can predict Knicks in 6. I can predict Knicks will take care of business against Detroit or Cleveland. I can go into the crystal ball and say, based upon Mike Brown's changes, the way Cat's playing, the way Brunson's playing, the way Bridges has stepped up, this version of the Knicks can compete with OKC. I could say all that. I can mean all that. And I do. But what matters to me as a Knicks fan, these guys aren't taking the cheese. I love the back page of the Post. They're reading the Post. They're not taking the press clippings and letting it go to their head. That's everything. You see that in sports, where players, teams can get swept away by takes and by one game and having it mean something for the next. That is the right mentality. If you are a Knicks fan, if you have been waiting for this year, and let's be honest here, NBA Finals are bust. East is obviously weird and weak. Knicks, and this is not exaggeration or subject to, being just reactive on my part. I said before the season, Knicks go to the finals. I said after the Knicks beat Boston in the regular season and we locked in our playoff picks here on Schein Time, Knicks go to the NBA Finals. So I am not overreacting to the last 4 games. I am reacting. This is exactly what I need to do. And when I look into the crystal ball, and you can see it, but these guys are on to game 2. And that's part of the reason why I have trust. Look, Knicks fans will tell you, we are never, ever at ease like this during the playoffs. I mean, I even go back to any, Patrick Ewing day and any game featuring Charles Oakley and Anthony Mason. You don't have games where you're at ease and the Knicks just dominate the competition and the opposition like they have over the last 4. But it's the mentality of the stars. You know you're going to have that with Brunson. That's who he is. That's what makes him great. That's why he won championships in college. That's why the Knicks and Leon Rose brilliantly said, this is my guy. We're going to build the team around him, and rightly so. When I hear that from Cat, and it all stems, let's be clear, from Jalen Brunson, that's it. The chemistry, the defense has stepped up. I almost feel like the Knicks defense has been a little lost in the shuffle because the offense has been so remarkable. Man, Knicks did it again. They did it again for the 4th straight game. Sheer domination, and that was incredible. I think they're going to win this series in 6. Might even be fewer games than that. But Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns seeing the forest through the trees. I thought of everything that happened on the court last night. It was the post-game interviews and the news conferences that, frankly, as a Knicks fan, that's what was most inspiring. To San Antonio, where it was the Ant-Man versus the Alien, and both stars were on display. And Ant made sure everyone knew he was on the court.
Oh, man, I made so many mistakes at the end of the game. I'm disappointed in myself.
How can you be disappointed? We didn't even expect to see you out here tonight. How important was it for you to be available for your guys in game 1?
For me, man, 75% of the game for me is my mind. My mind got to be where it needs to be. And in the last 2 minutes of the game, it wasn't. I gave up 2 offensive rebounds, turned the ball over. Yeah, I'll be better.
Amazing. Just amazing. And I love Ant-Man. I love Anthony Edwards. He has, for a long time, been one of my favorite players in the NBA. For Anthony Edwards to insist and be adamant that he's out there, right? And this was a knee injury where the initial diagnosis, we're not going to see him until at earliest midway through the second round. I mean, this was a legitimate injury, and if he didn't do everything ramping up the rehab and convincing Chris Finch, the outstanding coach of the Timberwolves, that he should play, and the medical staff, then, you know, he would have missed game one and no one would have said boo. This wasn't load management. He wasn't Kawhi Leonarding the whole thing. You know, Anthony Edwards was hurt, but he played. And he got himself in position because it's too important here in the playoffs. And he came off the bench. He was on a minutes limit, and credit Chris Finch and the Timberwolves for that. And he was heroic. He was the ultimate closer. Had 11 points in the fourth quarter. 8 of 13, 18 points in 25 minutes of gold. And he said after the game he needed to do more. And he needed to make sure that he made more shots next time around. And he promised he would be better. Man, if you don't love Anthony Edwards, I'm sorry. You don't love sports. I mean, this guy, his determination, his drive, his humble nature, and he still wants the ball, wants to be the guy who's going to stir the drink, straw that stirs the drink. You know, he is a quintessential star in terms of work ethic, one of the great faces of the NBA. That is legit superhero stuff, and he promises that this won't be a fluke, and he wants more. And look, that game turned out to be wild. You saw Randall at the end, the former Knick, miss that shot. You know, they don't call a timeout, Mitch Johnson, and champagne on ice at the end of the day as he attempted that three, goes a little short, would have been a game winner, you know, and if we're going from comfortable win to, you know, ultimately had to survive that missed shot at the end, man, these Timberwolves, you got to give Anthony Edwards a ton of credit. I mean, Mike Conley, who's the ultimate old head, who's been around the block. I mean, this guy, you know, was at Ohio State 100 years ago. I've always loved Mike Conley. You can go back to Memphis, go back to Utah, now in Minnesota. Listen, he said after the game, and he was so passionate, that Anthony Edwards is just everything that's right. No one was going to look sideways if he wasn't playing. He was legitimately hurt. The initial diagnosis was he's going to be out multiple weeks. Turned out to just be multiple games. Anthony Edwards needed to make sure he was out there because Minnesota's got an opportunity now. And if Minnesota, look, I love the Spurs, love Wemby. Victor Wembanyama had a block party last night. If you love the alien, if you love the freak, if you love freaks and aliens combined, I mean, what Wemby did last night was unbelievable. 12 blocks, 11 points, 15 rebounds. San Antonio in the second round of the playoffs is awesome. The crowd's going nuts. Mitch Johnson did a great job. Look, at the end of the day, we've talked about this consistently. I didn't pick them to play in the Western Conference Finals at any level. And originally for me it was the Lakers when they were the 3 seed. That obviously didn't happen. Then I thought it was Denver, and I was dead wrong on that. Look, I think Minnesota has a real shot here because Minnesota's got something brewing right now in terms of confidence and coaching and defense. And, you know, you look at Wembanyama, right, and in the NBA playoffs, a triple-double with blocks. I mean, it's kind of incredible. I mean, look at the company. Hakeem is an all-timer. Andrew Bynum is not. I mean, it's pretty remarkable what he did. But, man, both these teams are so easy to root for in terms of the likability of their superstars, and that was fun last night. And listen, in terms of, you know, NBC last night, it was a little interesting with the start times and having them staggered. With the Knicks being so lopsided, obviously that worked out if you wanted to appreciate and enjoy the Ant and Wemby show, and we most certainly did. So, listen, that was everything right with sports. You know, the NBA gets knocked, it's earned. The NBA gets destroyed for the regular season. They're making major changes with the lottery, and they have to. And I think part of the problem is I think people miss out on this, who Anthony Edwards is, what he's all about, his toughness, his domination, his likability. I can't get enough. That was pretty special. The fact that he played how he played, and he was disappointed in himself. He wanted more, promised he would be better. Man, that is superhero stuff again from the Ant-Man. The latest chapter of the LeBron James story begins tonight as the Lakers star reflected on how he got here in a conversation with Steve Nash.
No, I definitely didn't. I didn't believe that. I mean, listen, I came to the Lakers in 2018 at 33. And there's no way if someone had said, would you be playing in 2026 in the postseason, like, you know, just playing. Like, I don't know if I would have been able to answer that question, just playing. And then let alone saying, hey, now you're the number one option on a playoff team and you're helping to win a series. Like, you're the number one option on that team. I wouldn't have believed that. I mean, you know, I knew I still had a lot left in the tank when I came to this franchise in 18. But to say that, you know, 8 years later, you know, at 41, I will be leading the team into the postseason and then, you know, coming out with a series win. I wouldn't have guessed that, and I wouldn't have bet on that.
So that's really excellent perspective from LeBron, and I don't think it's exaggeration to say that if LeBron wins this series, this will be the crowning achievement of his legendary career. Think about that for a second. If LeBron wins this series, I firmly believe this would be the crowning achievement of his entire NBA career. He's 41. He's the primary scorer. Obviously, when you look at this team without Luka Doncic, who's not playing. I love the California Post back page. I loved reading Luther Rowland and Kobe Price on how the Lakers can upset the Thunder and shock the NBA. I love the back page with Weather the Storm with Oklahoma City Thunder. Love it all. Love the puns. I just don't love the Lakers in this specific series. I loved them when Reeves was healthy and Luka was healthy. I loved them, feels like a lifetime ago, on that Thursday night in OKC. Picked them to win. And then Luka and Reeves got hurt. I give LeBron and J.J. Redick and company all the credit in the world for what they did against the Houston Rockets. But the Houston Rockets are not walking through that door. The L.A. Lakers tonight, LeBron and the Lakers tonight, 15.5-point dogs. This is why I say this would be, if they win this series, the greatest accomplishment of LeBron's incredible career. We are talking about a juggernaut, a dynasty. We are talking about the ultimate home court advantage. We're talking about thunderous fans. We're talking about SGA. And I always hate it when people start, free throw merchant. I mean, how are the Lakers going to slow down Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? How are they going to slow down Chet Holmgren? How are they going to deal with Isaiah Hartenstein and company? I just don't see how it's possible. Even with J-Dub being hurt, this team just rolls deep. I mean, they're unbelievable. They come at you in waves. It's like a hockey club where they just got guys, you know, they put in different lines. It's crazy. I really would be stunned if we saw the Lakers even compete in this one in terms of the series. And it's interesting. You start talking about, well, how could we make a case where the Lakers can win? I'm struggling on how they could win a game. I will give them a game because it's LeBron and it's Redick, and Reeves is certainly going to help on offense. Probably not talked about enough. Reeves can't defend right now. I think in a lot of ways he's going to be, and I love Austin Reeves, he's going to be a liability on defense in this specific series. He's not even close to being 100%. I mean, I'm not betting this game in any way, shape, or form. I can't take the Lakers to cover the 15.5-point spread. I will put a buck on SGA's over, especially when he's going up against the Lakers. I think that he's the ultimate performer. But, I mean, the Thunder to sweep this series on DraftKings, plus 155. That's all you have to know. It's not a crazy payout. Plus 155 to bring your broom to work day in Oklahoma City. So, if James finds a way to do this, we will take our takes to a whole different level. Like, our takes are going to have takes. If LeBron finds a way to win this, if LeBron forces a game 6 or 7, I think it's going to take everything to a different level. This is not a fair fight. We've also seen this movie before, right? when both those guys got hurt and the Lakers got destroyed, and obviously what happened then the following week in Los Angeles. And I don't say this very joy or jubilation. I thought the Lakers were going to be the 3 seed, play the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals, and take them 6-7 games. That was my take when Luka was healthy and Reeves was healthy and LeBron was the third option. LeBron as the guy, as he said to Steve Nash on the Mind of the Game podcast, the go-to guy at 41 years old taking on OKC. It's not how you draw it up. Let's shine on baseball. And the Yankees, excellent tribute to the great John Sterling last night. And anyone with a heartbeat had to love Michael Kay's call of Aaron Judge's first inning home run. Take a listen.
It is high. It is high. It is far. It is far. It is gone. Aaron Judge, a Judgian blast.
This is Judgment Day.
Here comes the Judge.
If you don't have the chills, check your pulse. First of all, the Yankees are the best when it comes to honoring and appreciating history. Could be a player, could be a manager, could be John Sterling. And that appreciation last night was just absolutely beautiful, which is not a surprise. That's who the Yankees are. That's what they do. And to see Michael Kay and Susan Waldman come out to home plate with flowers, I mean, and they shared the booth, obviously, with John for all those years. Perfect. And obviously, that's who the Yankees are and what makes it special. And then for Aaron Judge to hit that home run after the Bleacher Creatures chanted for John Sterling, which, again, not a surprise. The Yankee fans understand history and who John Sterling is and the impact better than anyone. The whole thing was just amazing. And Aaron Judge told our friend Meredith Marakovitz of the Yes Network after the game that they weren't losing on the day where John Sterling passed away. And his home run, you could see it. He had a little smirk on his face when he rounded second. And he told Meredith after the game he was thinking of what John Sterling would have said, hitting that home run. And, Michael Kay using the Sterling-esque call was, it was beautiful and it was perfect. And then the PA played John Sterling with the Yankees win at the end. I mean, the whole thing was great. Aaron Boone pregame was fantastic, talking about, his favorite calls and his favorite moments. And, I mentioned this on the show yesterday in terms of Yankee fans and the beauty of Sterling and the entertainment, and he loved the Yankees and spanning generations. So yesterday I get home from Schein Time, and it's my son Theo's birthday, and I talked about how generation to generation and how I would appreciate Sterling with my dad, and I now appreciate it with my son. And it was his birthday yesterday, and Theo didn't know that John Sterling passed away, and he was so sad. He was so sad to hear it. And I showed him MLB's Twitter account, tweeted out 15 minutes of gold of the favorite calls, a lot of the ones I talked about yesterday. The first one was my favorite with Burn Baby Burn, a Thriller from Godzilla, Georgie Juice one, all the Jeter calls. So I asked my son, who's literally turned 11 yesterday, your favorite call, thinking, he would mention Judge. I mean, he's a huge Judge fan. He loves Giancarlo Stanton. And without hesitation, my son Theo smiled and said, Aaron Hicks, hit it to the sticks. I mean, I started dying of laughter. I mean, literally, that's what we do. We quote Sterling in the house. So the whole thing was terrific. And then, by the way, on the diamond, the Yankees are on fire. Judge hit another one. I mean, the fact that the Yankees swept the Baltimore Orioles and destroyed them, just clubbed them, embarrassed them in this 4-game series was unbelievable. You look at how locked in Judge is, it's absolutely remarkable. And the Yankees are just bombing the baseball left and right. Cam Schlittler, his cat is on fire. He's untouchable. And you could make the case that this was the, I'm going to put this in air quotes, least impressive outing. Get 1 run in 6 innings. I mean, Cam Schlittler, I'll say it again, is Jacob deGrom. I watch him like I watched deGrom when he was on the Mets. It's can't miss TV. Knicks were on last night. It's my son's birthday, and all he wants to do is make sure he sees Cam Schlittler as much as possible because Cam Schlittler is must-see TV. He's unreal. And you look at Schlittler and his ERA, I mean, We need to start having the Schlittler Cy Young conversation. That's where we're at right now. And you look at the Yankees and how they're just beating everyone. And let's be fair, the Rays have been absolutely terrific, but look at what the Yankees have done during this sweep, right? Look at these numbers. First of all, they've won 14 of the last 16. During the sweep against the Baltimore Orioles, they're hitting .324, 9 homers, the run differential absolutely positively off the charts. When you take a look at the runs for the Yankees, 30, and 9 for the Baltimore Orioles. I mean, they're unbelievable. AL East standings, I mean, think about, we like the Red Sox, we like the Jays, we like the Orioles before the season. How about XXX? Rays are playing terrific baseball. Let's make sure we give Kevin Cash and the Rays credit. And they're the only reason why the Yankees haven't run away with things quite yet. But, man, watching the Yankees, watching them rock and roll, now you look at it, minus 370 on DraftKings to win the division, just incredible. I mean, absolutely amazing. And I kept saying beginning of the year, and a lot of haters were quoting this back to me when they lost 2 out of 3 to the A's and then got swept in Tampa. Yankees lead the league in fun. Let me say it one more time. The Yankees lead the league in fun. And, seeing them win and honor John Sterling last night, it's perfect. Just absolutely perfect. Beautiful night in the Bronx last night. Michael Kay, Susan Waldman. That's baseball season. The whole thing last night was just beautiful if you're a Yankee fan. Tariq Skubal left the WBC to get ready for the MLB season. Well, that season has hit quite a speed bump. Here's AJ Hinch.
I think he had another episode of it locking up and was uncomfortable. So we got scans on it yesterday, revealed the loose bodies, and he needs to get it taken care of. So surgery is going to happen soon. He's going through all the details of what that's going to mean, who, where, when. It's a relative easy process and procedure outside of he's going to miss some time. So that's why we scratched him. That's why we're putting him on the injured list. And the next schedule is to get him into a doctor's office and set up the procedure.
Give me a second. First of all, I feel bad for AJ Hinch. I do. I think AJ Hinch, I'm a Yankee fan. I don't forget how the Astros cheated. I think AJ Hinch is a great skipper. I feel bad for the Detroit fan. I think that they have been bamboozled and hoodwinked by Scott Boras, Tariq Skubal, and the entire process here when it comes to the contract. First of all, if I was Tariq Skubal, who's won back-to-back Cy Youngs in a very easy case, he's the best pitcher in baseball. Like, if you tell me in the YouTube comments that you think Skubal is the best pitcher in baseball, no argument. I could say Skeens, Skubal best pitcher in baseball, great. Great. Clearly, he should have signed the contract in the offseason. And if he wanted to stay in Detroit, he should have taken the most money possible from the Tigers. But he doesn't want to stay in Detroit. And he wants to get paid. And that's why he chickened out of the WBC, but wanted to half-ass it and be there part-time. And, he's going to show up on an off day to support the team. Would have been nice if he would have started the gold medal game. But he didn't because of the contract. So Hinch isn't lying when he starts talking about, loose bodies in the elbow. We'll get him back in 2-3 months. That's the time frame. So before the show, I had the Schein Time crack research team take a look at what 2-3 months would be. My guy Tommy was all over it. He confirmed after May is June. After June is July. After July, Tommy tells me, August. Do you think Tariq Skubal is 100% going to show back up with no contract on the mound for the Detroit Tigers in August if this team is under 500? Think about that for a second. And we're at a stage right now where he wouldn't compete in the WBC, clearly does not want to be in Detroit, clearly is only thinking about his next contract and wants to make sure he's ready for that. whether that's the Giants, Dodgers, Blue Jays, Mets. And I think those are the 4 teams most likely to pay Tariq Skubal. Now, do those teams want to see him pitching for a Tigers team that is trailing Kansas City, which has now won 4 in a row, or Cleveland, and it's the worst division in baseball? They're probably not going to be competing for a wild card. It's going to be all about the division or bust. Are they going to be able to stay afloat? Am I allowed to roll my eyes a little bit and be a little skeptical here on Mr. Skubal? I think he's earned this, okay? If I was Skubal, if I was Detroit, I would have forced that. I would have traded him if he wasn't going to sign a contract before the season. Let him be someone else's problem. Because now I think this whole thing is just muddied in so many different ways. So I hope he's back. I hope he's ahead of schedule. I hope he pitches. I hope the Tigers stay afloat, and he wants to compete. But I just wonder if Scott Boras is going to let him. I wonder if in his heart of hearts, this is his instrument. It's his livelihood, his arm. I wonder if he's going to want to be out there, or would he rather be making the rounds at the winter meetings and talking to the Blue Jays and the Mets and the Giants and the Dodgers. Just something to think about. And this sucks if you're a fan of the Detroit Tigers. Don't look now, but the NL Central's a beast. Michael Conforto, the Cubs, the latest Central swinger to become a world beater. Good for Conforto, man. That makes me happy. Listen, Michael Conforto, from the Mets to the Giants to the Dodgers, he could always hit, especially with the Mets. And, last year with the Dodgers, had a ring, but really never fit. What a terrific game last night with the Cubs and the Reds. The Cubs are on fire. They have won 6 straight. And without question, the NL Central is the best division in all of baseball. You can make a case for all 5 teams to win it. I actually think the Cardinals have the least opportunity. I think they're the only one that's overachieving right now. PCA hit that triple. His defense has been amazing. His offense has really come into its own. I've just been so impressed with what the Cubs were able to do. That series with the Reds, these series, Pirates and the Reds, was a ton of fun. Brewers and the Pirates, a ton of fun. Reds and the Cubs, a ton of fun. I still stand by my preseason prediction of the Pirates will win the division. But, man, if you're a fan of the Chicago Cubs, you have to be thrilled. If you're a fan of the NL Central, you have to be thrilled. You take a look at what the Central has done this year. These nuggets of domination, these nuggets of jubilation, just incredible. All 5 teams with a record above 500. No other division has more than 2 teams at 500 or better. 20 of the 25 other teams in baseball, think about this, would be in last place in the division. That tells you all you need to know here when you look at it from a Central perspective. So this division is amazing. I'm impressed. I'm obsessed. I think there's a real shot they're going to end up getting 3 teams in. Reds doing this without Hunter Green. I still think the Pirates are going to win that division. Cubs look terrific, though. I think it's important to stress how great the Cubs look. This is what Cubs fans expected after the offseason. You saw Zaki hit a home run last night. PCA, as we mentioned, what he's been able to do. Bregman has been inspiring. The entire thing has been, the pitching for the Cubs has really come into focus during this winning streak. They're playing brilliantly at Wrigley, at home. Excellent stuff when you look at what the Cubs did in come-from-behind fashion. And all these games in the Central have been must-see. One of these years I'll be proven right when I don't take the Brewers to make the playoffs. I'm convinced this has to be the year, right? Dodgers have been struggling, but their social media team is still in a great mood. They posted the video you're about to see with the caption, "Your NL Pitcher of the Month, Shohei Ohtani." I mean, come on, give that person who runs the social media a raise. NL Pitcher of the Month, and they're showing Ohtani ranking. I mean, my goodness. If you're an Astros fan, you got to be saying, Mother Tucker. My goodness. How about Kyle Tucker? First of all, the Astros fans are booing him. You know what the Astros fans should be doing? They should be booing themselves. Because, first of all, anytime the Dodgers beat the Astros, I'm thrilled, okay? Because the cheating fraud Astros stole the World Series from the Dodgers with that detailed, digital, elaborate cheating scandal in 2017. They're banging trash cans, and they banged the Dodgers out of the World Series. So I was thrilled that Kyle Tucker got revenge. Absolutely loved it. Hit that homer. Absolutely were able to take care of business. By the way, the Astros stink this year. I hate the Houston Astros. I'm a Yankees fan. I'm a baseball fan. The Astros are awful. I mean, my goodness, ERA close to 6. Alvarez can hit. Alvarez can rake. Alvarez has been on fire. But my goodness, enough is enough. Watching the Dodgers destroy them last night, 8-3, that was awesome. Absolutely, positively awesome. I loved and seeing Correa strike out 3 times. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I want more. I want the Dodgers to win and just beat them up. Just take their lunch money while you're at it. That's what I'm rooting for tonight with the Astros and the Dodgers. But wait, there's more.
And everybody was surprised, so you can imagine how surprised I was. I was almost asleep, so when I got a call, I had to check it was April 1st. I didn't really believe it at first, and it was a bit shock. It was hard moments for me. It was home, so it was really hard moments for me, especially the first day. But as I said, I get to play in the greatest club in the world, and I'm excited for this new journey.
Man, I got to tell you, I am absolutely impressed by the fact that the Dallas Mavericks named Masai Ujiri the president and alternate governor. And there's no alternate way to phrase it. On the heels of the Luka Doncic debacle and what transpired trading him, and Nico Harrison making the worst deal in moment in the history of professional sports, getting someone like Masai Ujiri to take this job and leave Toronto, and he's an international scouting god, and what he did with the Raptors, winning that championship, delivering Kawhi Leonard, what he did with the Lowry DeRozan Toronto Raptors, what he's done since, putting together the roster now, the way that this is a coup. And the fact that they have Cooper Flagg and they'll be in the lottery, I mean, this is tremendous. If you're a Mavericks fan, this is everything. Everything that you want. It's great for Dallas. I'm so thrilled for their fan base. They have been through hell. Every single time someone like me mentions Luka Doncic, you kind of want to throw up a little bit, right? I mean, I still can't believe that trade actually happened. Finally, some good news here for the Dallas Mavericks. Cavs and the Pistons tonight. Listen, 3.5-point spread. You have Detroit at home. I think this series goes 7 games. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Cavs steal this one. I really liked what I saw from Jared Allen and from Donovan Mitchell and James Harden and Evan Mobley, how they were able to play when it mattered the most and the going got tough. Detroit had to exert a lot of energy when you look at that comeback and how they were able to make the magic disappear. Can Tobias Harris pump in 30 again? Not going to happen. Not likely. Live for Cade Cunningham. He's the number one reason why I think that Jimmy Bickerstaff's team is going to ultimately win this series. As a Knicks fan, I don't want to see any part of Detroit. They always make me nervous. Knicks are going to beat them. Don't misinterpret. But I am really just obsessed here with this series. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's good, pure hate between these teams and these cities and these fan bases. I'll take the Cavs tonight. Not going to play it, but I do like the Cavs tonight. I will take Detroit to win this series in 7 games. And finally, how about our guy, Timothy Chalamet did not go to the Met Gala last night. He went to see his Knicks. I mean, this is awesome. And Chalamet is a no doubt about it, unbelievable fan of the New York Knicks. And he said, the hell with the Met Gala, the hell with dressing up nice and pretty, the hell with what my girlfriend wants. I need to be in the Garden with my people. Now, I love the celebrities who love the Knicks. And I want to make sure we stress this, okay? My guy, Ben Stiller, is getting some hates on social media. If anyone is ripping Ben Stiller for going to the Met Gala, which, by the way, we all have work obligations. We all have things we have to do for work. We all have things, and I'm not saying this was the case, I have no idea, that your significant other wants you to do or kind of suggests you should do. Been there, done that. It's the world. Do not rip Ben Stiller for being at the Met Gala. Ben Stiller is at Madison Square Garden watching the Knicks-Pelicans game. He's not there for attention. He's there because he's obsessed with the Knicks. You know, you have a lot of, Twitter tough guys, Johnny-come-latelys, folks in the national news media who don't understand what I know, what Knicks fans know. Ben Stiller is the best. Ben, when it comes to being a savvy, diehard, passionate Knicks fan, he is the best, the absolute best. Do I love that Chalamet was there last night? I can't get enough. Chalamet's amazing as a Knicks fan. It doesn't make you less of a Knicks fan if you do something for, your job, your livelihood, your significant other. It's part of the deal. That's a show. If you missed any portion of the program, just do what I did. Go to the YouTube page. I live on the Post Sports YouTube page. I live on the Schein Time show. People will come up to me like, what are you watching on your phone? I'm watching me. I love me. Go to the California Post Sports YouTube page, New York Post Sports YouTube page, and just watch the show, the takes. Relive the pop, the sizzle, over and over and over again. And we'll see you tomorrow, 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific time. Right here on Schein Time.